GDB Getting Started. So here's a replit with a project with several files. It's a song database implemented with a linked list, and going to use it to demonstrate GDB. And so I'll also post, I'll post a link with this video so you'll have access to these files. So first, going to just walk through this getting started.txt has the commands I'm going to demonstrate in this video, and then they'll be here for you to have a reference to explore yourself. First, just starting GDB. It starts up. So the first thing to know, and it will remind you here, for help, type help. So that's a good place to start. Help, you get the main category of commands, classes of commands. And you can use help by followed by a specific command for specific command help. For example, help files. Well, that's in this case, files is a class, so it's going to list the commands in that class. And then here are the commands in the running class. And don't worry, there's a whole lot of commands, and this video will demonstrate how to use some of the most essential to start using GDB, and then you can learn more commands as you go. There's a apropos, A-P-R-O-P-O-S. With replit, sometimes I get my focus on the wrong place. I didn't want to edit this file. What did I do there? There we go. There's exit. So apropos is essentially just a search. So search for the keyword exit. And this is Q, quit, or Q. Many commands have a single letter abbreviation. So here, Q. I'm back at the command prompt. GDB is done. So that's starting, accessing the help, and quitting GDB. So next, go through actually running a program and demonstrate some of the capabilities. So again, I'm going to clear my console. GDB is started. Say file. So main, in this case, main is already compiled. It's the executable created by the C++ compiler. Reading symbols from main. I'm going to run. Now, when I type run, it's just going to run the program without doing anything extra. And that's what I wanted to demonstrate. I'm not going to, right now I'm interacting with the program main, which is the song database. I'm just going to choose Q to quit. I get this message. That's the typical message. Oh, and you can ignore this error disabling address space randomization, unless that's something you're particularly have a reason to worry about. That's it's something you can ignore for this demonstration. So now on this list, I've run. Now I can do info functions n. This is one of my favorite places to start with GDB because it's just going to list the files in my project and the functions, what types they return, what their parameters are, their signatures. This -n is because without the -n, you'll get a whole lot of internal functions also that are independent of your project. Fun to explore, but not more typically you're going to want to use that option. So start, I'm going to do start, is a little different than run. It's going to start the program, go to main, which is in driver.cpp. See that main function. Create a temporary breakpoint. And stop there. So right now I'm at that breakpoint. I can do list, and that's going to list 10 lines of the context of where the program is. So it tells me it's at line 9 of file driver.cpp. That's right here. So notice it didn't break right at line 6 on function in main itself. It put the breakpoint at the first line where there's actually something for the program to do. So let's explore the variables. So there's the file name. So this is the contents of file name before it's had an assignment. So that's info locals. Do info variables will show the globals. I always want to type globals, but it's info variables. And then -n, similar to the functions, will be a whole lot of internal variables that show up without the -n, and a few still show up anyway. So here it's showing that these variables, it's listing them, but it doesn't show what their value is. So you can use explore for that. So that's saying it's a scalar value of type const int, and it has a value of 3. There's growth with the value of 5, and these are in song list .h, so that's their properties of the list. And then this max character, and its value is 101. Exclamation clear. So in GDB, I can use exclamation to execute a shell command without leaving GDB. So clear, that way I can get back to the top of my screen. relist the functions. Frame will tell you where you are at the current execution, where the current execution is. So right now we're still at line 9. So let's create a breakpoint, another breakpoint at this. I can just give it the name of a function. So let's say display menu, which is in the tools.cpp. Let's create a breakpoint. Continue. Does what you would expect. It resumes normal program execution until it gets to a breakpoint. Gets to this breakpoint and tells me about it. And in this, it's showing that I'm in the O stream, the optimized, the insertion operator, this double left angle bracket. And if I do list to see my context, that shows me this is the O stream, where when we include IO stream, this is actually what's being included. But this isn't really very helpful for our programs. The reason I'm demonstrating this is because sometimes it takes a few extra steps to get the breakpoints where they're going to be useful. So for now, I'll go ahead and see. So I put this list together for the demonstration so I wouldn't lose my place. Continue list. Okay. So this the display menu was in the tools.cpp file. So let's look at that file. So list. So to choose a file in GDB, I have to use this syntax, the file name, colon, and then one comma. If I want to see the whole file, there isn't a shortcut for just look at the whole file. I suppose there are other ways I could do it, but to just become familiar with GDB, you give a line range and both sides are inclusive. So I'll just say 1 through 100. And in this case, I have a 49 line window. So that's what I can see at a time. But so I can see the display menu function. It put my breakpoint here, and it's essentially just putting the breakpoint there at the first place it tries to do something. Not really very interesting to my program. So it might be more interesting to put a breakpoint on this line 25 after the read option. So the program's going to display the menu, read a program input. So I'll put a breakpoint on this line 25. So finish that display. So that's B is an abbreviation for break. So B and D will be most of some of the two most common things you use. B is short for create a breakpoint. D is short for delete a breakpoint. So B. So a file name, colon, line number that I want to breakpoint. It's breakpoint 3. And then info B will show me my breakpoints. Now I determined that this breakpoint number 2 wasn't very useful. So I can just say D space 2. Now if I do info B, that breakpoint's gone. Now I'll use continue. So I'm interacting with the program, and this is what I the option I chose. I chose A for add a song, and now I'm at my breakpoint of where it's showing that input. So let's look at that list. So that shows the context of where I am. The breakpoint's line 25. So it shows me 10 lines with that line 25 where the breakpoint is in the middle of the context. And let's look at the local variables. And then you can also do explore. So 97 is the ASCII value for the integer value for lowercase a. Frame, which can also be abbreviated F, will show the current execution point. Read option at tools 25. So that's useful if you might be exploring quite a few things, several commands, so you can check at any time where your current execution point is. Go ahead and continue again. It says continuing, enter a song name. So Hello World by artist Lionel, Kerrigan, and Ritchie. Duration 42, EPS 7. Welcome to the song database. It's prompting me for another option. I'm going to choose quit, queue. Now I'm at my breakpoint 25 again. I'm going to go ahead and just continue. So this inferior one process exited normally. That's what I would expect. Now I'm back at the GDB prompt, and I'm going to queue again, which in this case, it's going to be quitting GDB, and I'm back at my command prompt. Thank you.